if reposted.
Today we're joined by Alexandra Catalano. She is a healthy lifestyle expert, two-time speaker and creator of the blog and brand Eat Cute. You can check them out on Instagram at Eat Cute and Twitter. And I've known Alex for a while, and something that you might not get from her blog or her website is she is a hilarious improviser, and she is a trained opera singer, which if you ever get the opportunity, it is quite a treat to be serenaded an improvised song by Alex. But we're going to get right into it. Today's quote comes from your book, From Beer Bongs to Broccoli, The College Kid's Guide to Health and Wellness. And you said, stop dieting, start eating cute. What does that mean?
You know what? I should have thought about that more when I wrote it. But but for me, it means, when I created Eat Cute, which is the name of my blog and my brand, I am a very petite 35-year-old woman. I'm going to be honest. I'm 4'11". If I'm very petite. And I think my whole life, a lot of times, especially with women, I've seen people be like, oh my God, you're so cute. And like, it's kind of like a condescending thing. It's kind of like, I'm sorry, did you just tell me to go fuck myself? But for me, I wanted to reinvent that word and make it a positive thing. And so for me, I guess loosely eating cute is just like really listening to your body and eating the foods that make you feel cute in a positive way, not like cute in a nasty way.
All right, Alex, I'm going to do this interview while eating a salad just because I was feeling a little self-conscious. Maybe have an avocado while we did this. Hey, so nobody thinks you should eat junk food every day, and nobody thinks like eating good is bad for you. So then as a nutritionist, when you go speak, like what's the number one hindrance for people to just start eating good?
I love this question. I think you're right. I think people's intention is to eat well. And I think what is so frustrating for me as a nutritionist, and I get so angry with brands, is they're always tricking people. Poor people are trying to eat well and feel good. And they go into a store and they look on a label and it says, oh, it's paleo or it's vegan or it's keto. So for me, what I'm trying to teach people is how to read past that marketing and really just look at the ingredients and also pay attention to the foods that, just because a food is healthy doesn't necessarily mean that your body likes it. Like for me, kale is not my friend. I don't digest kale well. It makes me feel bad. I remember when it was a garnish, kale and I have been together for a long time, but, just really understanding what foods work well for you and also how to read past that marketing. Did that answer that question? I was like, did it?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think you kind of touched on it just then, but something you talk about, I heard in your TED Talk, is like listen to your body and don't listen to marketing. But like, how do you figure that out? So for me, a lot of times I feel hungry, but I'm really just thirsty. And like, how do you guide people who are trying to learn what listening to your body means? Because your mind plays tricks on you.
100%. That's what gets confusing about intuitive eating. So one of the things is, because it's like, well, my body's saying it wants a brownie, so I guess I'm listening. I hear you, body. I will give you a brownie. I think essentially what that means is just, for a lot of my clients, I tell them to just, I know this sounds crazy, but just keep a food journal just for a temporary part of time if you're just trying to get a sense of what foods are working for you. So, it doesn't have to be like, dear diary, today I ate, kale and I feel like, it could just be like track a specific step. One, if you're trying to listen to your body, is make some goals. So if you're like, Andrew, if you're like, I'm tired a lot. Okay, cool. What are some things that I can do today that I can track? So, okay, I'm tired. I drank, only a cup of water. Okay. And I ate a lot of sugar. Maybe that's, you know what I mean? Once you just track what you eat and how you feel in relation to that specific goal, that can help. So for example, I have some clients that have acne, right? They're trying to clear their acne. I have them write down everything they eat. And then if they start to see a correlation between the foods that they eat and that acne flare up, then we can kind of figure out like, oh, every time you have dairy, I'm seeing some breakouts. Let's get rid of the dairy.
Is that something where you're like doing an elimination where you take everything out and you introduce stuff, or is it just?
It could be. God, Andrew, you don't need me. I'm going to go. Yes. So that could be an elimination diet. So some of the, I'm really glad you brought this up. So I always tell people this. So I said earlier in the podcast, just because a food is healthy doesn't necessarily mean it's working for you. So what I want people to keep in mind too is there are there are some foods in our diet that can be, it's not okay. So if I have shrimp and I have an allergic reaction, my eyes swell shut, right? It's very obvious my body doesn't like that food. But it can also be an intolerance where it might not be a reaction where your eyes swell shut or you can't breathe, but it might be you can't lose some weight, or you're tired all the time, or you get headaches. Those are food intolerances. And some of these foods I'm going to tell you what they are right now. So one of them is eggs. Sorry, guys. I eat eggs, but a lot of people do have an intolerance to them and don't know it. So eggs is one of them. Dairy is another. Sugar, gluten, we all knew that. Soy, and I think there might be one more that I'm not mentioning, but I think that's everything for the most part. So those are the foods I tell people to really just keep an eye out for, because those are the ones that you could pull out for 2 weeks and then one by one introduce them, and your body will have a bigger reaction, and that might give you a sense of, oh, maybe this food doesn't work for me.
Hey, Alex, I'm just going to get some push-ups in too while we do this, because you're making me inspired.
Those look great.
Where did Americans get lost in this? Why does nutrition cost thousands of dollars and sort of take up all of our time? Where do we get lost in the path of eating?
This is a great question. I think, I think a lot of people think that they're eating things that are good for them and that are healthy, and they're getting frustrated because they're not getting the results they want. But I think a lot of that, again, has to do with marketing where, gosh, this is like a sick habit I have, but there's an event. Remember when we had events? There was an event that used to be called, oh my God, what was the name of it? It was,
Lollapalooza?
No, it's like Expo West, which is a big health expo, and it's huge. It takes days to walk through it, and it's every product. It's all the new products, all the health products on the market. And I walk through there, and I just love picking things up and reading them. And I do the same in the supermarket. So many products that are labeled healthy, like I said, are just filled with I'm like, if I'm drinking a health, beverage, why is sugar cane in there? You know what I mean? So that's the number one thing I'm seeing with people is they're going out, they're buying the healthy products, they're going to the gym, but then, I believe 70% of that is diet. So they're really not able to see those benefits because they're eating foods that, are inflammatory or are causing weight gain. And so I think that's why people feel so frustrated, because the health industry is $1 trillion industry. There's a lot of money to be made. And poor people, I think, are going like, well, I'm going to do, J-Lo's diet, but it might not be the same diet. Her body is different and her day is different. She has access to things that are different than I have. So I think, again, it's just really understanding what your body likes. And, it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, it's a little more. Look, if you're buying organic, it's a little more expensive. But I don't think you have to buy, all the fancy things.
Yeah, there's also like the mentality of if you spend a little bit money now, you're not going to pay the health costs down the road.
And you stop it. You stop being so good at my job. Yes. Andrew says everything I say. I'm like, yeah, Andrew.
I have another question about how you deal with new clients. So I feel like right now the mentality is, especially with social media, is like instant gratification, and people want to see results. Like, I want to lose 40 pounds this week, but like, how do you check people's expectations on when they're trying to lose weight, or not necessarily lose weight, but get into a healthier lifestyle, and like what they can expect as far as a timeline?
Yeah. I mean, I try to take the timeline out of it entirely. And I tell people like, look, it really depends, but what I do try to encourage people, especially when I first start working with them, it's all the little wins, right? So like, I think what happens when I get most clients, and I'm the same way, we get excited, right? We're like, oh my God, you know what? This is it. This is my week. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to drink matcha. I'm going to wake up at 5. I'm going to meditate. And so people want to have like this long list of things that they're going to do. And it just becomes impossible. It takes like 4 hours to leave your house. So it's just like, I try to tell people, it's like, we figure out one goal and we hammer that in. So one of the first goals that I'll tell you guys right off the bat for free, right here, right now, one of the things that you can do today to enhance your health and achieve so many goals is, Andrew, you touched on this, is drink more water, because a lot of people overeat because they're not hydrated. A lot of people have issues with their skin. You'll get better skin. Your skin will look plump and hydrated if you drink more water. headaches will go away, muscle soreness. You know, it really changes your game. And so just making small steps and really making them a habit, so you don't even have, you know, it's like when you learn how to drive, you're like, I got to turn, I got to check, I got to do this. But, you know, if we take these little goals and we make them habit, you don't even have to think about it. Like for me, it's just habit. I have my water bottle with me all the time because I'm always drinking out of it. It's so big. I know.
You know, this is ironic because I was prepping for this interview and you mentioned something, and then I went into my spice cabinet and I had a huge container of it. You mentioned turmeric.
I did.
What is the mention? Like, what do we, like, why is turmeric magical? Why should we eat turmeric?
That's a great question. Well, turmeric is a adaptogenic herb, which essentially helps your body adapt to stress. And there are herbs like this all over the world. So turmeric is one that comes from India. And what makes it so special is it's very fantastic. It's really fantastic at helping with inflammation, which, if you don't know, most disease is caused by some kind of inflammation in the body. So that's one of those great herbs that really help with inflammation. And what I love about it, and this is, not everyone knows this, I'm sure some of you do, maybe Andrew does, turmeric you can't just have by yourself, like by itself. You want to combine turmeric with black pepper, because the black pepper helps act as a carrier so your body absorbs it. So that's really important. Anytime you're cooking with turmeric, you want to have the black pepper with it. And an extra brownie point is turmeric is the vitamins in turmeric are fat soluble. So that's why you'll see them. Have you guys ever heard of golden milk?
No.
No? Okay. Some places in LA, it comes from India. It's like they take milk and they put turmeric and honey and black pepper, and sometimes they'll add cinnamon. They do that because the milk is a fat that acts as a carrier. So it helps you just absorb it better. So if you are cooking with turmeric, you can put it with a little grass-fed butter or ghee or some olive oil, just some kind of fat to help kind of just bring it all together.
Yes, that is such a good tip. Alexandra Catalano, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Check her out on Instagram and Twitter at EatCute. Check her stories out every day, because you never know when she might sing some opera for you. I'm Andrew Keller for Larry and Alex saying thanks for stopping by.